If I could have your attention here in the media center, we are now joined by today's second and third place finishers in the 7th annual Pocono Mountains 150. We have on stage third place finisher Brett Moffitt, driver of the number 11 Toyota. If you can tell us about your race, man, that was wild out there, especially those restarts. It seemed a little hairy. Can you walk us through there?
Yeah, those restarts were interesting for sure. You got a couple people who couldn't quite figure out the tricky triangle, it looked like. So a lot of it was being patiently aggressive. Our strategy had us in the back a lot for a majority of the race, and we kind of had to work our way back up past older tires every time it would cycle through. So we had to be careful, but all in all, the guys at Red Horse did a really good job. Complete 180 from yesterday. We were struggling, and I wasn't sure our truck was going to be that good today, and we didn't make a single adjustment on it during the race. So we really had a good truck. Scott called a great race, great strategy, and got us up front when it mattered.
We're also joined today by the second place finisher Cameron Hayley, driver of the number 13 Cabinets By Hayley Toyota. And how tricky was the tricky triangle for you this afternoon?
It was definitely tricky for sure. It's interesting with these caution clocks and fuel mileage, and you never know exactly what you're going to get. And we stretched it about as far as it would go. I ran out coming into pit road. So we were definitely stretching it. We were worried about that. But our Tundra was really fast today. 1 and 2 we struggled all day, but the tunnel in 3 and 4 we were on it. That 9 is so fast. I mean, we need to really go back and look at things because he's definitely a step above us. But we worked hard all day, and those restarts were crazy, like Brett said. But we were able to come out, at least for a second place finish. Would have liked to win, but that 9's pretty fast, so we'll keep trying.
You guys put on a heck of a show today. We'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here in the middle with Zach.
Zach Sterniola with the Pocono Record. Brett, for you, being that you were in the back because of your strategy and you're pretty much in the thick of all the craziness that was going on back there, how difficult was it for you to try to keep your nose clean back there?
We were actually really lucky. It seemed like when it happened right in front of us. So we were able to duck to the bottom and avoid it before, cars get stacked up 3-4 wide trying to avoid it and you get forced into a lane. So it worked out all right for us. It's just we saw a lot of attrition right in front of us. And but part of qualifying raining out was we started mid-pack and we had to do what the leaders didn't. So that's why we went with that strategy, and it ended up working out. But it definitely was a little bit nerve-wracking through the middle section of the race there.
Go up in front to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com for Brett. When did you find out you're racing at Pocono, and how are you hoping today's finish will help you for more races?
They like to keep it last minute, so I found out about a week ago. A week ago Friday, I guess it was, I believe, when they officially announced it. But so it was. It's a little stressful during that week to get everything ready, and it's hard on the guys at the shop. But they did a great job adjusting to multiple drivers this year, and they continue to prove that.
And for Cameron, with William Byron and other winners repeating victory lane, how important is it to have strong finishes, knowing the chase is coming up with only like 4 or 5 races left, and try to point your way in if you can't get a victory?
Well, thanks for reminding me. There's only 4 or 5 races left, but yeah, we did almost all we could to get in that chase there. Obviously, we would have liked to win. The 9's really strong. I mean, he's got so many wins. I don't know why he just didn't pull over and let me go, but. Overall, I mean, we definitely gave it all we had. A second place finish is huge for us for points wise. Had some struggles at the beginning of the year, and we're definitely overcoming it here in July. But it's a good step forward for sure.
We'll open the floor up for questions here again, but I want to let you know we're now joined by Christopher Bell, driver of the number 4 SiriusXM Toyota, who today finished 10th, coming back from a remarkable 5 laps down to finish in the top 10 with quite the day. Could you walk us through, I would say, an adventure out there for you today on the Tricky Triangle?
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is, because Jerry Baxter and all the number 4 guys did a great job on the truck, and our SiriusXM Tundra was super good all weekend long, and definitely feel like we had a truck that could have competed for the win, if not get the win. But put myself in a bad position there once we finally got made up our ground back up from our at the beginning of the race. So put myself in a bad spot on a restart, and got put 3 wide going in the tunnel turn, and it didn't work out.
Okay, we'll go back to the questions. We'll go to Dustin and then up front to Reed.
Dustin Albino, Speedway Digest. For Cameron, in 2 starts here, you have 2 top 5 finishes. What's it about this track that suits you?
I don't know, to be completely honest with you. Last year, I got beat by Cup drivers, and I felt like I could have won if there's no Cup drivers. Well, now you got William Byron that's super fast, and I got beat again. So I wish we just kind of seal the deal. But again, 2 top 5s in my 2 starts here. I don't know what it is about this track I like. Maybe it's more suited to a road course. I love road course racing, but we're always really good here. The guys bring great trucks from Thorsport, and we learn every time we get here, and maybe next year it'll be my time.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Cameron, when was your last pit stop, and what were you doing out there to save fuel?
Well, before the race, we talked about we could make it after lap 32, and we pitted on 23. So we definitely stretched it a long ways. I felt like I saved more fuel than the 9. He had his motor on a lot more than I did. Those Joe Gibbs motors must have some good fuel economy, but our Tried Power definitely helped us throughout the race, and I saved and saved and saved, and definitely coming to those last couple laps, I'm like, just please hold on, and we ran out coming to pit road, but we definitely stretched it a really long ways, longer than we thought.
Go next to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, kicking the tires. Christopher, when you were 5 laps down, what was going through your head? As obviously the cautions helped you get back on the lead lap and get your finish, but did you think you could even get that far?
No, I had no idea. I was just kind of going through the motions and doing what I was told on the radio and just kind of along for the ride. And then next thing you know, we get the truck back out there, and the fenders weren't clearance right, and we cut a right rear tire. So then that was under a green flag, and then we just sat there on pit road, and Jerry just kind of made the call to just sit there and make sure he made it right. And then by the time we got going, we were 5 laps down and just out there trying to log laps. And next thing you know, there's a yellow, hey, we're the lucky dog, come on around. And hey, there's another yellow, come on around. And by the end of the day, the last yellow put us on the lead lap, and we were able to capitalize on it. So to come out here with the top 10 was remarkable for us.
I think you passed the most cars, that's for sure. I mean, it felt like every caution he's like flying by us. I'm like, didn't he just get that?
Yeah, every yellow we'd be driving by the field.
Christopher, just for your knowledge, the 5 free passes is a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series record. Congratulations.
Nice job.
Well, I'll take a record any way I can get them.
Good deal. We'll go up next to Chris.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Christopher, did running the ARCA race yesterday help you at all today or this weekend?
Definitely. It's always nice to have track time, and growing up in the dirt ranks, running double duty or even triple duty isn't unheard of. So, and then in the NASCAR ranks, it obviously isn't either. But this is my first opportunity to get to do it on a pavement track, really. So I really enjoyed it, and really thankful that all my sponsors and people believe in me. And yesterday we had a really fast JBL Camry, and contended for a win there early before I faded really bad late. But, I had 2 really fast race cars, and I can't wait to get to Bristol.
Go back to Pat.
Pat Ticola, NASCAR.com for Brett. You have a lot of Cup time in your career. Is there any clear path for you to get back there? And what have you been up to the past year?
I don't think I've had a clear path my whole career. So I've kind of been riding each opportunity I get. It was last year, it was in the 55 car when Brian was out, and this year it's in the 11 truck with Matt Tiff being out. So not the way I want to get opportunities by someone else's hard fortune, but it's good to make the most of them, and hopefully this opens the door for some more races.
Go next to Zach. That's another Zach, by the way.
Yeah, Zach Tantuetti, front stretch. Can you all three just talk about the restarts that seem pretty crazy today, a lot of cautions, especially in turns 1 and 2. What was your difficulties, and how were the restarts planned out for you?
I guess I'll go ahead and start with that one, because I was always in the back, so restarts were great for me because I'd have huge draft runs by the time we got to turn 1, and then I got 1 restart up front, and I think I restarted 5th, and then by the time we got to the tunnel turn, I was like 12th. But being in the back is definitely an advantage on these big racetracks because you can just use the draft, and man, it's easy to pass guys whenever you're behind them because you get going so much faster down the straightaway. And like I said, I had 1 restart up front and I went backwards, but every other restart whenever I was last, it was really easy for me to make up positions.
On the flip side of that, starting up front sucked. It was definitely, I mean, when you start 2nd, 3rd there, really the bottom is the worst place to restart. And I started 2nd there on the last 3 restarts, so that was really tough. You have to watch the guy behind you blocking, hope he might draft you. If he doesn't, then you got to block him and worry about the guys on the outside. And then you get in the turn 1 and they're holding you tight. And I almost wrecked it twice on those last couple restarts getting loose on the inside. I'm sure Brett saw.
Trying to make you loose.
Yeah, Brett was part of that last one, but it was definitely crazy. But you just kind of had to hold your ground, and it was all about the draft. The outside was definitely the place to be on the restarts.
Yeah, like they touched on. Definitely want to be on the outside, get the runs in the tunnel turn. I think you see a lot of attrition because it's the same group of guys that I sit there and watch on TV every week, and they race every week. That when someone's outside of them, they don't realize that that's going to get them loose. And
You did a good job of that with me.
wrecks a lot of race cars, and so that's why there's a lot of attrition, I guess, and hopefully they'll figure it out.
Well, Brett, Cameron, Christopher, we really appreciate the show you put on today and the time you took to come in here. Thanks again, and good luck.
Thank you.
If I could have your attention here in the Media Center, we are now joined by today's race winners for the 7th annual Pocono Mountains 150 here at Pocono Raceway. And that is driver William Byron of the number 9 Liberty University Toyota, crew chief Rudy Fugle, and some superlatives about today's race. This is the 5th win and 7th top 10 finish in 2016 for one William Byron. It's your first victory and first top 10 finish at Pocono Raceway. And you're going into to the chase here shortly with a lot of momentum. Can you talk about your run today?
Today was just about a great race team behind me and just bringing a fast truck to the racetrack and doing our homework. So that was step number one, and we knew this race was going to come down to restarts just from the last couple of years and seeing what's happened. And luckily we were in the right positions. We got the right brakes. There were a lot of cautions. I would have liked for there to be a few more, but I felt like it helped us save a little bit of fuel, and then we got to that last restart and we're able to drive away. So just can't thank Liberty University enough, and Toyota and Rudy and all these guys that are putting all the effort into this.
Rudy, we know that restarts here can be really dicey. We had a lot of restarts late in the race. Was there ever a point as a crew chief were you nervous about the outcome of today's race with all those restarts?
You're always wondering what's going to happen. Last year we were with Eric. We were as us and Kyle. We were way better, and we ended up getting wrecked on the last restart. So you're a little bit worried. But look at where this kid was in Kansas on restarts, and compared to now, it's unbelievable. It's hard work. It's spotter, driver, working together, and he's got it. Just put a challenge ahead of him, and he figures it out.
Good deal. We're going to open the floor to questions. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll get a mic to you. We'll start here with Dustin and go to Zach.
Dustin Almino, Speedway Digest. William, we talked yesterday, and you said that one of your goals for the rest of the season was to set the career mark for wins by a rookie. What's that mean to you?
It means a lot. I don't get too far ahead of where our goals are, but that was definitely a goal. I can't lie about that. So I knew that was something to beat, and we just show up with so much focus. We never get off track, I feel like. So it's just a credit to where we are as a race team, the work we're doing, the work they're doing in the shop on the trucks, and we're putting it all together when we get to the racetracks. And I love this racetrack. I think it's a pretty neat place, and you got to be in love with the racetrack, I think, to have success also.
We're going to go to Zach, then to Jerry, and then to Reed.
That means he's not in love with Eldora. That's what that meant.
Zach Sterniolo with the Pocono record. Obviously, Kyle won last year here in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to him to get any advice from him coming into this weekend?
Mm-hmm. I did, a little bit, and just watching some tapes and stuff. And we had a pretty good idea what we needed to do here, and I got experience in the ARCA race, which helped a little bit. So, got to thank the Venerini guys over there for getting me a good car in June and getting me some practice here. So this place is tricky, and it's a lot different. But, Rudy, everyone did a good job of getting me up to speed, and we just had a pretty flawless weekend.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, kicking the tires. You've had 4 wins since graduating high school, one earlier in the season. But I guess getting out of school has helped you focus on your racing career a little bit, and has the enrollment at Liberty U gone up any?
I think hopefully we're getting some more students on board and seeing them travel into all these different cities and states, we're able to reach some more students and some kids like me that can go to school. So I'm taking some online classes right now, and then I'm going in the fall to back to school or to college for the first time. So it's helped just graduating high school, getting through that stressful part, and then transitioning and focusing, completely on the racing. But it'll be that way in the fall. We're going to make sure that we schedule all my classes around our races and make sure we have enough time to get everything we need done.
We'll go up front to Reed and then back to Bob.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. William, now that you've got the rookie record, where do you reset your focus and what's the goal now?
I can't give a number, and we just focus week to week. So if we can continue to win, each win's so difficult. I mean, it may look like you've got the dominant truck and everything's working great, and then a restart comes and who knows what happens. So it's just important to focus on each week because you never know where things are going to go. And if we continue to build like this, who knows what the bar is, I think, for our team, and we just got to look at it that way.
Bob?
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. William, before the race, everybody on pit road said, well, the 9 is the truck to beat. How much different is the pressure, and do you like it more or less? Is it more difficult, easier to deal with when everybody's looking at you as the guy to win versus probably, 10 weeks ago, 10 races ago, they maybe didn't look at you that way?
I think it's not very difficult just knowing that you can go out there and win. And like we worked on restarts, like he said, at Kansas, when the caution came out with 4 laps to go, I was not happy at all. I'm still not happy when the caution comes out, but at least I know I can do it. So that's the biggest difference. And just having the confidence to know that you can win, it's so much easier when you have a fast truck because you don't have to think about much before the race and what you have to change. So that's what we came into today with the mindset of, and it worked out.
Go up front to Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Congratulations on the win. Do you guys think you are putting an exclamation point to the rest of the competition and what they can expect in the chase from KBM and you guys as an organization?
Go ahead.
I mean, we just go in every race, just trying to accomplish that race. We look forward to you look forward to the whole year, but you want to put a exclamation mark on everything so that everybody's looking at their stuff and working on their stuff, and they know when they show up to the racetrack who they're going to have to beat. And that's all we try to do. That confidence you have going in the racetrack is more for us, not really worrying about everybody else. It's more for us knowing that we're going to show up, and if we do everything right, we're going to have a top 3 truck when we show up, and we're fighting the other 2 KBM trucks. That's our goal. So I think that's what we look forward to.
Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest thing I see is, with Rudy, it's never like we should expect anything in a weekend. I mean, we go in with a clean slate each time, and he's pushing me as hard as I need to. I mean, we got done with first practice, and we're looking at videos and watching and talking about stuff that's not going the way I need to do it or he needs to do it. So we're just always focused, and I think it makes other people start to guess a little bit.
We're going to go next to Jim, and then to Reed, and then to Dustin.
JimMotorMotorsport.com. Kind of along those lines, William, because the chase in trucks is unlike Cup, where you're not going to be actually going to, I think, only one track that you've actually been to before, and you're a rookie. Do you think that approach that you were talking about benefits you about focusing on week to week, because it's not, unlike Cup, people are making a lot of second trips to tracks in the chase, and you not going to have that experience?
I think that's important. I mean, I've been to some of the racetracks in the chase more so. I've probably 3 or 4 of them I've been to, and that's a good thing. But I think also the ones that I haven't been to, just going in with a clean slate and just focusing completely on what we need to do. And I think if we can continue to win, that's the best bet because of the wild card that Talladega is and some of these races that you go to. So that's important to keep winning and try and position yourself in the best way.
Next to Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. Rudy, Cameron said he ran out coming to pit road at the end. How close were you guys?
Not that close. We should have been good for another 3 laps, so we probably had a gallon. We should have had 2 gallons left in there. So really good fuel mileage, really good engine. Joe Gibbs Engines, they've been Mark Cronquist has been working his butt off, and it's been showing up. He's been feeling it, and we're still getting good fuel mileage. It's all coming together.
Go back to Dustin and up front to Scott.
Dustin Long at NBC Sports. So, William, you talked about the restarts, and obviously from Kansas, it's been a big adjustment, big change. How does one get better at restarts? Obviously, you can't practice it at the track. I mean, I'm guessing it's simulation or video, or what? How do you do it, and how much time have you put into it, and where do you even feel you are at this point with those?
I mean, Kyle Busch is the best at restarts in our sport, and it's important to learn some stuff off of him, but it's also just a confidence thing, and it's also a timing thing. So a lot of it's just knowing that you can do it and just kind of getting down and not overthinking it, because I think a lot of people get to the restart line or box and they're having all these thoughts in their head, and I'm not too worried about it anymore. So that's a lot of it, and I think I can still improve for sure. So we're gonna keep working. He's just given a few little tips here and there, just about what to look for, what to do in the truck and stuff like that. But honestly, a lot of it comes down to what you're doing in there, and he can only coach you so much, but he does give a lot of good advice to us.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. A question for each of you. First for William. How tough is it to get into a rhythm with all the cautions? You guys would get a green flag, and then the yellow would come out right away. And green flag, run a lap, yellow would come out right away. How tough is it to kind of get in a rhythm during that race like that?
It's pretty tough, but I think it's just it's our job, so we just have to go back to work and stay focused. And we were always messing with things inside the truck as far as saving fuel. So that was really the focus until I got off turn 3 and got ready for the restart. But it wasn't too difficult. I mean, I would have liked it just to go green, because it gets a little frustrating, but it was all good.
And for Ryan, some of the early cautions, a lot of the trucks kind of came in, but you guys stayed out on the track, and I think pitted around like lap 23 or something. Were you tempted at all to maybe change strategy, or was that your strategy, going into the race that you were going to maybe pit at that point of the race? Or?
Yeah, we've worked really hard this week preparing for this race. With as short as it is, it gives a lot of strategy. Usually strategy wins it. So we had 2 different scenarios depending on when the cautions fell. So just had some ideas, and that we had to stick with each one, depending on what it was. And it all just based off of, fuel mileage and when we could make it and not make it, and how many cautions were there. So, I have a great great engineering group through TRD that helped with lots of programs and different things to help figure all that stuff out and what to predict for cautions. So it all comes from that.
Any additional questions? William, Rudy, congratulations again, and
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing how you do on this hot streak.
Thank you.
Thank you.